Good morning, boys and girls. So today in reading, we are actually going to do a social studies activity during our reading block. So I wanted to go over what you kids are going to learn about, and I also wanted to make a video of me reading aloud each page because there's a lot of reading, and some of the words you might not know how to pronounce. So I thought, you know what? Why not read it out loud? It's always helpful to go over questions first if you are being asked to answer them. Because as you're reading or as I'm reading, your brain will say, oh, wait a minute. I think this is the answer to one of the questions I read. So here are the questions. It says social studies, how and why Europeans came to the New World. And it's on pages 41 to 51, but instead of having you take home your social studies books, I photocopied the pages. So this activity is expected to take you 2 reading blocks, one on Tuesday today and one on Thursday, okay? And I made sure that I put all of the questions in the order that you'll find them in the text. So Europeans are any people from Europe. All right, so introducing questions. You'll see I have a heading and then the question. So I am narrowing down where in the text you should be locating your answer. So number 1, what were European explorers hoping to discover? What objects were they looking for? So make sure you restate the question. So your answer should start off something like, European explorers were hoping to discover, and name me the objects, and then once you're finished, put a period. Number 2, why do archaeologists search for sunken ships? Again, restating that, you would say, archaeologists search for sunken ships because... All right, this next set of questions is under the subheading of underwater archaeology. If archaeologists are studying explorers from over 500 years ago, how do they know where to look in the oceans? What information are they using to help them discover sunken ships? So your restating would be something like, the information that archaeologists are using, then it says, write the definition of artifact. You do not need to restate that question. You can look in the glossary, or it can be located in the pages that you're reading. Number 4, you'll notice I have bullets, so you do not need to restate this question either. Name 4 pieces of information archaeologists might discover about a ship by studying the artifacts they locate. All right, next subheading, ocean crossing and directions. What instruments did explorers use when crossing oceans? Please name them and describe the instruments. So when you're answering this question, you should say something like, the names of the instruments that explorers used were blah, 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 period. And then in your following sentences, then you can describe them. All right, this next question, is from the section called maps. Think about how maps were made during the 1400s and 1500s. Why were maps constantly changing? In other words, what information was continually changing? This next question comes from the heading Claimed Land and Religious Beliefs. Why did ships proudly have flags visible for people to see? So when you're restating that, you should start off by saying, ships proudly had flags visible for people to see because you want to make sure that you're making your writing in past tense. And there's another page of questions. Number 8, where in the world did Christianity begin? What did Christian explorers always carry with them? And I said, make sure you answer both questions. So you would say something like, Christianity began, give me the location, put a period, and then you would For the second question, you would say Christian explorers always carried, past tense, and then tell me what they carried and put a period. All right, next question is from the wealth and new foods heading. Explorers were looking for gold and silver. In order to collect as much as possible, what did they do to the Native Americans? So you should restate saying something like, in order to collect as much gold and silver as possible, the explorers made the Native Americans, and then give me your answer. Number 10 is a bulleted list. No restating necessary. Please list some of the new foods explorers came across in their travels around the world. And number 11, please write the definition for cash crop. So you can either find the definition located on one of the pages, or you can look in the glossary. Now, my recommendation, I don't think it would be a smart idea just to read all these pages. How I think you should start this assignment is, for each heading, read that section, then answer the questions. So in today's lesson, I am not going to read aloud all of the pages. I am only going to read aloud the sections that I believe you will have the proper time for, showing good quality on your assignments. So this section is technically called Introduction and Reviewing the Questions.